promotional tokens, promotional pins. It's really good. Bringing out a lot of people, it seems to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
This Wednesday night, Modern is a big contender. It's the biggest night of the week every time, usually.
For sure, absolutely. It's a really cool thing as well they're doing. They brought out in the last couple of months, you can take any approach you want with it. So the SCG Games night, it's kind of like, right, here's all these pins, these tokens, these really slick stuff you get to give out. You can run Modern, you can run Standard. EDH, whatever the hell you want. You just get your people into your store and give out this really cool merchandise.
F&M before they updated F&M. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So right now we're going to kick off. It's going to be Will Tolan, our fellow commentator.
Absolutely. On the left hand side you can see Will there. And
versus
another fellow
commentator, Sandra Baars.
So
no nepotism here.
No, we kind of had to get this one on camera, I think. And we're actually looking at some pretty interesting decks here as well.
You've been going on about Sanders' deck.
I have been talking about this one for a couple of weeks.
I'll let you off with that one.
Yeah, so big fan of this deck. It's a really cool deck. We saw it back. I was trying to remember what the actual tournament was. I couldn't get it up. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly where I saw this first. However, Spaghetti and Meatballs, I think the name of the deck that people were coining it as. So basically what we're looking here is a Primeval Titan deck. You've seen some of them in Modern recently. This is this particular version, straight red green. So we're looking at 4 Primeval Titans to go along with some Through the Breaches for your Primeval Titans and your Emrakuls. So you're Through the Breach on your Primeval Titans, your Emrakuls, also some Wormcoil Engines and some Sundering Titans in there as well. So you kind of Through the Breach some fatties, get them onto the battlefield. Then your Primeval Titans are also tutoring for some copies of Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, which for some reason Sander hasn't actually written on this deck list. So I sincerely hope he put them in his deck.
Well, considering otherwise he'd only have about... Oh, I hope so. I'm hoping.
Because we're also looking at 2 copies of Scapeshift in the main deck here as well. So if he's Scapeshifting for fetch lands and stomping grounds and other stuff like that, he's probably going to be a sad boy if he's searching through his deck.
He's got 23 lands there.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's actually 25 and 2 of those are Valakut.
Something tells me he's forgotten to write them down. So
I'm hoping.
Yeah, a lot of same kind of stuff we see from the Scapeshift decks.
He's even got the 2 Summoning Trap, which I'm a big fan of.
Absolutely.
And might come into play here because Will, on our left hand side, is going to be playing Blue-Red Storm.
Cool.
So he's not going to be playing as many. Actually, does he have any? I thought he was going to be playing Twin. So he's got a few counter spells in the sideboard, so that Summoning Trap might come up. But it's still fine. 6 mana Summoning Trap.
No, absolutely, yeah. It's basically your Through the Breach number 5 and 6, I suppose.
Absolutely. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
A lot of the usual stuff in this Blue-Red Storm deck, right?
Yeah.
I suppose we'll get to numbers afterwards. We actually are off and running here, folks. So turn 1, copy of Stomping Ground from Sander, and turn 1 from Will is an Island into a copy of Sleight of Hand, it looks like. Okay, so this is kind of combo off, ignore each other to a very large extent, and just try to get there.
Sakura Tribe Elder is going to be a big deal. Sander really needs to get to his 5 mana and get to either get to his Through the Breach. Really, that's going to be the main thing.
For sure. Will has very few ways of actually interacting with that, so it's kind of just race to the finish line.
The Taxian Probe off, and we see that Through the Breach, but no Emrakul, but a Primeval Titan to go off with. But it still might be too slow. I mean, we really need that Emrakul.
Yeah, so what do we have here? We've got end of turn, we can go sack Sakura Tribe Elder, go and get a forest.
Yeah.
And then we can go untap, we can play a Corsair Crucifix and try pulling another land off the top, and then he also has a fetch land in hand, which we've seen pairs very nicely with the Corsair Crucifix. So 1 piece of ramp. Other than that, it's kind of playing fair to a certain extent, but we do see here, and I was just about to bring it up, and I like that Will has played to lead me directly into what I was about to speak of. The Goblin Electromancer here. We do actually see 3 copies of Anger of the Gods in the main deck here from Sander tonight. So he does actually have a way to interact with one of Will's win conditions.
Great, because Will has 4 of those in the deck. Really, we've noticed Storm doing more and more. It is that turn 2 play this, and it's a big signal fire to go, next turn, I'm going to be going off.
I'm going nuts. You need to kill this. Yeah. And it's one of the 8 pieces, right? So you've got 4 Goblin Electromancer and 4 of the Pyromancer Ascension. Yeah. Usually you want to play one of them in turn 2, leading into either turn 3 or turn 4. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah. So in Will's hand, it looks like he has 1 extra land and... Oh no extra land, but he's got 7 spells. Or 6 spells.
Well, okay. We can definitely see 1 Pyretic Ritual on the end there. There's definitely a Manamorphose second from the end.
There's 2 Gitaxian probes.
So, yeah, I think there's at least 1 Gitaxian probe anyway, possibly 2 copies on the end. We do see 1 in the graveyard as well, so that could come up if we get a Pyromancer's Ascension as well.
And we're seeing this card on top is...
the Search for Tomorrow on top from Sander.
A Modern Master's favourite.
Yeah, indeed. Modern Masters, you're dead right. It was printed in Modern Masters before that. I think it was in Kamigawa block. Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
For such a hated block, there was a lot of Kamigawa cards in Modern Masters. That so here we see Will going for the second Golden Electromancer, choosing not to go off. I think. Oh, he's got a Misty Raid Forest. Okay, do you go off here? I don't think I do. I think I will.
He can go, well, Pyretic Ritual. See, a lot of the spells in the deck actually being reduced by 2 colourless mana is not going to make a big difference. The second copy of Pyro
doesn't do much.
It doesn't really do a lot. Really, you want to just 1 reduction on your cost. So you've got Manamorphose with 1 colourless. You've got the Rituals 1 colourless. You don't really have anything like, say, the
that's 1 and 2 colourless.
Exactly. You used to have the 2 colourless and a red for make 5 mana. What's that one called? It was banned anyway.
Another ritual.
Yeah, one of them. Seething Song, I think. Is that what?
Seething Song was,
yeah. So, you know, it would matter in that case. But in a lot of senses, they hear it's just kind of a redundant copy. It can't even attack through the Courser Crucifix either. So,
I feel like he should have just tried to go off. He has his third land. He had a bunch of other spells in hand.
Yeah.
You could have even just cast. So there's another Sander getting a bit nervous. He's.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's getting that Primeval Titan.
So here we go. Primeval Titan, we can go fetch for, we've got 1, 2, 3, we've only got 4 mountains on the battlefield right now, so he can't go fetch for Valakut and a mountain to say, well actually no, sorry, excuse me, what he can do is, because it's going to gain haste, I forgot, it'll go ETB, go and fetch up 2 copies of Valakut,
and then 2 mountains.
And then 2 mountains will shoot, say, each of the
both his Electromancers.
Yeah.
And there's Will showing his face on screen.
Oh wow, no, he actually just puts an Emrakul at the
play.
He's fair enough. So
we didn't notice this. We should have noticed it.
He must have drawn it. I didn't see the Emrakul in the hand before, so Will scoops all 6 permanents up. Yeah.
So he's going to be taking 17, going down to 3.
And the Courser Crucifix here in 1 or 2 turns will be able to. Yeah, okay,
it's fairly
fair enough.
I feel like Will made a mistake there, not going off turn 3. He could have had it. I feel like he had 6 spells in hand and a land. He should have been able to go off.
I like going off there too. We did see a copy of the Through the Breach and the Emrakul in Sanders' hand, didn't we?
No, not originally.
Did we not?
No.
I thought we definitely saw, no, sorry, not the Emrakul, the Primeval Titan.
We saw the Primeval Titan in the
So basically what Will was doing there was, he knew he was playing into the Through the Breach plus the Primeval Titan, excuse me, so he had to have known that he wasn't getting to untap with any copies of Goblin Electromancer. I think I'm with you. I think I like just going off there. Don't play the second copy of the Electromancer and use that 2 extra mana to whatever. We saw he had at least 1 ritual.
He had 2
the
probes.
Manamorphose, the probes.
He could have just gone.
I think he can go for it there for sure.
So sideboard, we have Will has 1 Spell Snare, 2 Gainsay, 1 Negate, 1 Void Snare, 2 Echoing Truth, 2 Prophetic Flame Speaker. Very spicy, I like that one.
Yeah.
1 Empty the Warrens, 2 Shatterstorm. White border, baby, is on the Shatterstorm.
Yeah.
Nice. 1 Chandra Pyremaster, 2 Blood Moon.
Okay. What do you like here?
I like the Echoing Truth is instant, isn't it?
It's an instant.
I kind of dig that. I mean, you get to just nullify. Well, it's not great. Sorry, I like the negate. This 1 negate just to stop the stop his Through the Breach, just stop that sort of thing.
Yeah, Spell Snare doesn't do a lot here. Doesn't really counter anything important. You know, maybe you get to pick off something like a Sakura Tribe Elder, but it doesn't seem great.
No.
Gainsay obviously doesn't do anything. Void Snare, Sorcery Speed, not a whole pile going on with that either. Flame Speaker, not really.
Honestly, I feel like since Will's deck can go off turn 3 and turn 4, I feel like this is his match to lose.
I think he's racing here, right? He's kind of just a faster combo deck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I feel like Sander is coming to this list more to beat out the Absa and Fair decks just by doing something a bit bigger. Might be able to get to his combo faster than say the regular Scape Shift.
Yeah,
which I really like.
Yeah, the likes of a Blood Moon here against a lot of Primeval Titan decks might be a good card. So against, for example, the Amulet Bloom deck, which is the kind of the main Primeval Titan deck at the moment, Blood Moon is absolutely awesome against them.
Turn 3 win.
It's amazing against them. Against this deck, not so much. This deck is playing fair. It's playing 2 colors, splashing for black for a couple of sideboard cards, but it's playing some
so
basics.
Here's Will. He's taking.
So he is bringing in Blood Moon, and I feel this is actually a trap. This is a mistake. I don't think he needs to bring in Blood Moon here. I don't think it's going to do a lot to slow Sander down.
No.
he could even play around it to a certain extent. So we actually see 2 copies of Forest here in the deck. So if he wants, he can fetch at least one of them to try play around it a lot.
But he's taken out his sleight of hand, one of his sleight of hands, and I'm just like, that's such a good card in this. I mean, when you're going off, that's a prime one. I think people get stuck in this kind of trap where they're like, oh, I have to use my sideboard.
Yeah, and I have to interact with my opponent somehow.
Absolutely, and you're like, no, ignore your opponent. That's why you're playing Storm.
This is the thing. It's a role thing, isn't it? Where you need to assess what role you're playing afterboard. And I agree with you. I think he's probably a turn faster than this other deck on the other side of the battlefield. I think he needs to take advantage of that and go for it as much as he can.
The signal negate, fair.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. I like the one negate. Other than that, I don't think I really like a whole pile there. So for Sander, in the sideboard, we see 1 copy Slaughter Games, a Crows and Grip, 2 Wormcoil Engine, 3 Combust, 2 Chalice of the Void, a Rakdos Charm, 2 copies of Choke, 1 Relic of Progenitors, and 2 Ancient Grudge.
Now I know one of the cards, well, really 2 copies of the same card is the best card near.
Yeah, probably Chalice of the Void is going to be a Windmill Slam here after board. He definitely wants Chalice of the Void here. It's going to shut off a lot of these cantrips, so there's a lot of 1-drop cantrips in Will's deck. He sided out a sleight of hand there, but he's still got probes, he's still got a load of other sleight of hands, Serum Visions,
all the rituals.
Yeah, the rituals he can go on 2 as well, so actually putting it on 2 is even bigger game against this deck. So 1 or 2 against this deck, it turns the deck off. So
I'm really hoping that Sander doesn't think he's going to be tricky and put in chokes. I think it's that's another massive mistake that someone could make, because if you have a turn 4 choke in hand and they're just like, okay, turn 3 I go off, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You're just left looking at this card. Yeah, I don't think Choke is what he wants here. On the draw, especially, no. On the play, possibly, but definitely not on the draw. Then he can look at something like Relic of Progenitors. This deck often uses its graveyard to go off with Past and Flames, and also with the Pyromancer's Angel. So we could look at that. Crows and Grip, another one for the Pyromancer's Angel. So he does have different cards he can go for. Even something like Slaughter Games if he wanted to, but it's not exactly where you want to be against this deck. They do have multiple win conditions with the Grape Shot and also something like Empty the Warren. So
we can see here that Sander is playing he is playing the red-black fetch land. He's going to, because he does have a few black splash lands for sideboard cards such as
Slaughter Games is one we mentioned.
Is that the only one?
Rakdos Charm as well. One of Rakdos Charm, which exiles are an artifact or an enchantment?
It's an artifact.
It's an artifact, okay.
It exiles the graveyard, destroys an artifact, or deals 1 damage to a player equal to the amount of creatures they have.
Okay.
It's great against Twin. It's pretty good against it's pretty good against Affinity.
Very true.
Hell, the odd time it can actually kill Affinity. If they're like, oh, I can win this turn. I've got 7 dudes on the field. You've got 7 life, or I've got 7 life, but I can win. I can race you, and you just go. Each of your things does 1 damage to. It can sometimes just kill them. It can be a 2 mana 7
You can get a little bit tricky for sure. Okay, so here we go. Will with a turn 2 Goblin Electromancer, which is
the scariest thing.
It's where he wants to be. He wants one of his 2 drops, as we mentioned before. Either or is going to be fine. Both can be extremely explosive. Some they have slightly different angles of attack. So if you have multiple cards of one type of the same card in your hand, that's what you want.
Is that an Empty the Warrens in his hand?
It might.
That's a mistake.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're playing against a deck with Anger the Gods in the main deck, which he doesn't know, but he has to assume a deck like this probably has some amount of them after board at the very least. Maybe he's made a mistake siding in this card.
Yeah.
Now, if Sander doesn't have Anger of the Gods, he's not going to be able to beat this card. It will kill him. So, it's just you're playing a little bit into one of their ways to deal with your combo in the first place with your Electromancer. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, we have Slaughter Games, Secure Tribe Elder. See, this is the best thing. Because he's gone turn 2 Electromancer, he's on the play, Sander's tapped out. Will should just be going now. He should just be like, okay, go off.
Yeah, like it depends on his hand. Sometimes you need the extra, the 4th mana source. Like looks like there's a copy of Past and Flames that he's picked up for the turn. So sometimes you feel like you need the extra 1 mana to be able to go ramp up Past and Flames and then kind of recast your rituals. Sometimes you need that 1 extra mana. So he's not under any real pressure here now. If he feels like he needs to play around something like Anger the Gods, he might go for it here. But I think he could probably wait a turn if he wants. Maybe cast like a cantrip, something like a Serum Visions, Scry 2, set up the next turn, that type of thing. So
I'm not actually a big fan of Anger the Gods in Sander's deck against this one, because sure, it does hit Goblin Electromancer, and Empty the Warrens isn't really the prime win con of these decks ever. Yep. I'm not a big fan of it. If I were him, I'd probably take it out, because I'm like, I don't know, 3 mana to take care of his 2/2.
Yeah.
it doesn't feel good.
Again, on the draw. Not
On the
great.
draw,
And I think
exactly.
we are being told that Sander did side out the Anger of the Gods here. So, yeah, I tend to agree. It's not. Actually, in saying that, is that a copy of Anger in his hand? Or is
No,
that
no,
a
that's a
Valakut?
Slaughter Games.
That's a Slaughter game. So he did side in
He
Slaughter
bought in the
games.
Slaughter Games. I don't know what's your name.
I think that was a Valakut. To be honest, man, I think that was a Valakut.
He's got it through the breach.
He definitely has a true
No, there's
breach.
a Slaughter Games in
Are
his
you
hand.
sure?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay.
There might be a Valakut as well.
Okay.
But there's definitely a Slaughter Games.
I think the
don't
card you name is probably Pass and Flames. It's generally the way this deck wins. It usually wins through a Pass and Flames.
Sure.
It's going to be too slow to name the likes of an Electromancer or a Pyromancer's Ascension.
In his hand, we see Will has Blood Moon. Once again, not doing much.
He drew the Blood Moon for the turn, and this is what we were talking about. There's the basic forest on the other side of the battlefield. I can't remember. Did he fetch for that? He did fetch for that. Yeah.
No,
So-
he did. He fetched
yeah.
for the. Yeah, it's.
So Sander playing around Blood Moon possibly. Maybe he just doesn't want to take an extra 2 damage, and that's why he
Doesn't
fetched
need
for
it.
it anyway. Exactly. Yeah. He's a straight 2-color deck.
Yeah. People are trying to get tricky with Blood Moon, and
Yes.
sometimes it's just
And
not
one of the
great.
things about it actually as well, which is worth mentioning, he wants to keep his mountains in his deck as opposed to fetching them out when he fetches with a fetch hand. So even given the opportunity to fetch for a dual land, he might even choose to fetch for a forest anyway, just to keep mountains in his deck. So that's another reason why Blood Moon might not be the best in this matchup.
So Will Storm count 2. I mean, it looks like he's trying to go off. He's got one ritual. Yeah, I can see a Passing Flames in hand.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely has a copy.
Oh no, he's got
of-
2 rituals.
He has a Pyretic Ritual, and there's the what's this one called
One
again?
from Kamigawa.
Yeah, I can't remember. Something ritual.
It's a ritual.
It's
One-
a ritual.
One red
It does
mana.
the same as Pyretic Ritual. Two, one and a red for give you three.
Well,
mana.
now it's 1 red
Oh, sorry, of course.
because
Yeah.
of the Electromancer.
Very true.
So he's got 2 red mana. Or no, sorry, 5 red mana.
Okay, we're storming off here. 5 red in the pool. That is the third play for the turn, or is it the
No,
fourth?
he's got 4. See, he's got the dice at the
Oh,
top,
sorry, that's the okay.
counting
Yep.
off the storm. So Sander very fairly on his F6 mode.
Yeah.
Just passing priority, let it all happen.
So here's the Pass and Flames.
So he's got 2 red mana. Now here's where things get dangerous. He just really starts to go off. But does he have enough blue mana? I don't.
What is he doing? Flashing back red mana to do what? Oh, we saw he had Empty the Warrens in his hand. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
so
he
he's
does.
just going for a big empty turn here, I think. Make a
Yeah.
load of goblins. This seems fine. If I
Okay.
can have a big turn with empty and make a load of goblins and just put pressure on him, it's probably a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have lost to people just making about 6 goblins.
Yeah,
And you're like,
absolutely.
okay, cool. I have no valuable way of doing this. Oh, he had enough mana
okay.
to cast the Blood Moon
Well, yeah.
and cast the.
I'm fine with that.
So that's empty the ones for 9. That's 18 goblins. That's a lot of gobos.
Yeah, wow. Oh, yeah, actually, add the Blood Moon is another spell for an extra
Yeah,
2
that's what I
goblins
was
too.
saying,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay, sweet. Cool. So that's a lot of goblins. He's coming across for 2 here, which is going to be a block and a sack to pull a land out.
Yeah. So that's 18 goblins.
So we do have a second copy of no, you don't want to go and get that. You want to get a basic forest here. Exactly. Man Sander. Anything else is going to be a mountain, so
But I think this is another one of these false flags as well. Now Sander will be thinking, oh, he has emptied the warrens. I should bring back in my Anger of the
back in
Gods.
the Anger of the
And
Gods.
it's like, it's always that annoying thing that you don't want to lose to hoarding out or
empty the warrens.
empty the warrens again. But you're just like, but I don't want to bring in 3 cards to fight 1 card.
Yeah. To be honest, I actually like it on the play because I like being able to kill the Electromancer. When he goes turn 2 Electromancer, I'm actually fine tapping out on turn 3
Okay.
to kill it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's such a powerful card. It's such an important card that you absolutely have to kill it. Like, if I have, for example, we saw he had a copy of Crows and Grip. I'm definitely bringing Crows and Grip out of the sideboard in this matchup, 100% to kill the Pyromancer's Ascension. On the play, 100%. On the draw, I'm not
50,
sure.
50,
I'm not
yeah.
sure about on the draw, but on the play, I definitely want Crows and Grip and my copies of Anger of the Gods, especially after we see this what do you call it? Not the Blood Moon, the Empty the Warrens.
Oh, yeah.
For the Anger of the Gods for the empty. So
But I was even saying as well, that Cross and Grip looks much healthier now after he's seen the Blood Moon.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. I just don't think Blood Moon really does anything in this matchup. To be honest, like in game 2, all I'm doing is just fetching for Forest, and I just ignore Blood Moon. Like if I have a card on my board to deal with Blood Moon, specifically Blood Moon, I don't care about it.
There's
You know.
the big tap sideways of 18 1/1s.
Yeah.
How much life is Sander on?
Sander was on 18 before that attack, I think, and he's just dead
No,
next turn.
he couldn't have been because he would have been dead. He only got he blocked the Electromancer.
Yeah.
So he would have taken 18. And yeah, that's good.
Oh, hang on a second. He's got 18 goblins. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I was thinking he'd. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking there. I was thinking 9 spells. I was thinking 9 goblins. I think I wasn't really sure. Yeah.
Wow,
so.
Empty the Warrens. If it's 4 mana, make a Goblin Storm would be the worst Storm card.
It wouldn't be great, but it would probably actually still see play. Funny
Just
enough,
cause,
it probably would.
Stupid Storm.
Yeah, like usually it's such overkill with an Empty the Warrens that it's kind of okay to just do half, and it maybe takes you 1 extra turn. But
I remember the misery. One of the players here, Dogan, he usually plays Storm. We saw him playing Storm, Blue-Black Storm in Legacy, but he usually plays Blue-Red Storm in Modern. He's been moving away from that. But I played against him once playing a terrible deck. I was playing a mono green standard deck. I nearly beat him, much to his chagrin.
Yeah.
It was blue. It was green black. No, it was because I would have beat him with Golgari Charm because it kills enchantments.
Nice. Yes.
But
and it minus ones all his creatures.
But I didn't notice because I was like, I can't beat Storm, whatever.
Super noob.
Because I was playing a standard deck. I was like, yeah, whatever. Your deck's unfair. Mine is like absolutely fair.
You've got 4 copies main of Golgari Charm.
But anyway. So what happened was I was playing Dragon's Claw, the one for every red spell that's cast, you gain a life.
Nice.
So at one point I got up to 40 life, and I was like, how can he win? But he was just going through his entire deck, and he was like,
Grape Shot
you for 20, Grape Shot you, Flashback for 20 again. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I just made you play longer.
Yeah.
But I'm like, screw
it. When it goes off, it really goes off. Like we do see a lot of times it's forced to go off earlier than we'd like to. So we do see that with this deck, depending on what it's playing against, say it's playing against something like a Delver deck or a Zoo deck or something where they're putting a lot of pressure on, you force the action, you go to them, right, I'm not giving you another turn. I know you'd like one more turn to untap and kill me comfortably, now you're going to have to force it. And you kind of make them make decisions where they go, play 3 rituals, then play like, the Manamorphose or something and hope to get there. You don't give them the comfort level of Manamorphose first, see what happens, because then they don't have the mana for the rituals, that type of thing. So, it just depends on which pressure they're on, really.
Yeah. It's a tough one to fight against. You kind of just, you're more like, I feel like a lot of decks are dog to Storm. Like Storm is always in the driver's seat, and that's never a way I like to be where I am depending on my opponent messing up. I never like to be against that deck, but it is tough to play against.
Yeah, it can be.
I do like the Chalice. Hopefully he can find turn 2 Chalice for 1. Will do a lot.
Chalice, yep. Chalice is big news.
Okay.
Chalice is big news on 1. I think Chalice on 2 is actually exactly where you want to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Chalice on 1 to slow them down, but Chalice on 2 basically locks them out of the game. And we heard about the Echoing Truths out of Will's sideboard. That's an answer for a hate permanent. If you put it on 2, they can't even Echoing Truth it. So I don't even know if he's a single. Actually, he's got a 1 of Void Snare.
Void Snare, yes.
Something tells me he wouldn't even be in his deck after board here. So
no.
Chalice on 2 would be lights out, I think.
Bouncing Primeval Titans is not always the best thing to do.
Not ideal.
They pass the Jace test very well.
A little bit.
Especially if you're getting Valakut triggers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's kind of the same when you attack or cast it. Obviously, it costs you 6 more, but it's the same effect. You still get to pull out the 2 Valakuts and do all the crazy Valakut things that this deck likes to do.
See, this is why Primeval Titan is probably the most broken of the Titans, because Inferno Titan, when it comes out, can do 3 damage divided as you choose. Yeah. If you make your deck right, Primeval Titan does 6 when it comes out.
Absolutely.
It does everything. So yeah, here's the sleight of hand. Like I said, probably the most important card in Will's deck. I feel like it's the most important card in the Storm deck.
Which one?
Sleight of hand.
Okay.
I think it just fixes up everything. The fact that he took 1 and put it in the sideboard, I feel like is a huge mistake.
Okay.
Because it's your only really proactive turn 1 play.
Well, I actually like Visions more so on turn 1. Actually, I prefer the sleight of hand on the turn when you want to go off. Sure. So when you're looking for something right now, I need a ritual right now. I get to look at the top 2 and hope one of them is a thing. Obviously, Serum Visions, you just draw a random card.
Sorry, I meant to say Serum Visions. You took out.
Yeah. So turn 1, you want to be Serum Visions is the perfect play on turn 1 in this deck.
So the fact that he took 1 out, I feel like is a
okay. Here we go. So put the pressure on right away. We see a copy of Sleight in his hand. We also see Pass in Flames and Fetch Land. I'm not sure if I catch anything Is that 2 passing flames in the hand? I think it might be.
Never nice.
No, and this is one of the features of this deck versus, say, the Legacy deck.
Yeah.
So in Legacy Storm, you get 1 Ad Nauseam, 1 Tenders of Agony, and everything else is just combo
Gas,
pieces.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just basically gas, and then you've got 2 combo pieces. In this deck, you've got 4 Pyretic Ritual, 4 Goblin Electromancer, and you probably play 3 to 4 copies of Passing Flames.
Yeah.
If we can get his list up here, I'll be able to tell you exactly how many now. We see
2 Past in Flames. He
only
actually
2. Okay, 2 Passing
and he
Flames.
has
Okay.
both in hand.
Okay, I thought it played 3 or 4 this deck, so
See, here's the problem. He's got 3 combo pieces in hand and no way of working. Well, one way. He's got the sleight of hand.
yeah. So he needs to be slight for looking for spells that have the same name as either Serum Visions or
There's
okay,
a
perfect.
Sundering Titan and Through the Breach
Oh wow.
in Sanders' hand.
Oh wow, that will wreck Will next turn if he can do that.
Will just got
Does
a
he have
mana
the full-
Morphos.
Does he have the extra land? I don't think he does. He's missing a land, so he
Oh.
needs a land to be hiding under that the Sakura Tribe Elder on top of the deck.
Sure.
So can Will go for it here? I think he's missing a land as well.
Yeah, he's got a mana.
Oh, no, he does have a land,
He's got the
excuse me.
Flooded Strand.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a mana Morphos as well, so he's going to start off with a sleight of hand. Yeah, and he's going. That's always the scary point when the Storm player reaches for that Storm dice. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's go time.
Yeah.
Here we go. So Will choosing to play the Sleight of Hand first.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Do you fetch first here, or do you play Sleight of Hand first?
No, I like playing the sleight of hand first. I mean, it allows you to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you a little bit more information. Sees if you want to fetch. Although I suppose, yeah, you
Like
can't
if you've only 1 land in hand here, you're gonna have to fetch. So
to
basically,
get your mana
Yeah.
Morphos.
So for example, now he's gonna have to fetch, and if that's a card on
And
the
all the
bottom he
information's
doesn't
gone.
like, it's back in his library, and he can potentially draw it. Now, you know, I suppose the argument goes both ways. Like if you look at 2 cards on top that you want to keep,
Yeah.
you have to put 1 on the bottom and draw 1. So maybe he does want to shuffle it back in. I'm not really too sure. Like there's
It's
a
a
lot of
gamble.
nuances. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of nuances here with ordering and sequencing of your cantrips in Modern.
So I think about it again, you're right. I'd say I prefer to fetch first.
Yeah, possibly.
He fetched with his Flooded Strand. I would have gotten a second Steam Vents because he's got a mana Morphos in hand and he needs double red to cast that.
No, it's a colorless and a red green. One colorless and then hybrid red green.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always thought it was red green, red green.
No. This card is
It's good.
very good.
Yeah, yeah, I
It's
was like-
very good.
Okay, it's fine. You need double red, but it plays a lot of red. Yeah. So, and escape
He has
shift.
escape shift too. Okay.
Yeah, he really needs another land on top
Yeah.
if Will doesn't go off now.
So Will, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough here for Will. There's a lot of sequencing orders operations you have to get exactly right when you're playing with a card like Pyromancer's Ascension. Thank you. Bill with drawing a cap. Oh wow, that's a big draw. That's a huge draw.
What did he get?
Mana Morphos. So that's
So he's got
that's two
two-
Mana Morphos in
two
hand, and
ritual.
they both get to cantrip. So we get to draw more gas basically. So that was the probe. He paid 2 life and he drew a card. So he's seen the True to Breed. Like he knows if Sander has True to Breed, or if he finds a land hiding under that Sakura Tribe Elder, this game is over. Like if he gets to kill both of his lands with the
Sundering
Sundering
Titan.
Titan, and then when the Sundering Titan gets
Dies.
is it exiled or dies at
Is
the
it
end of the turn?
We'll have to check. It could be. I don't think it leaves the battlefield.
Okay,
No,
so-
or is it? I think it might be.
Let's just quickly confirm that. I think he gets the trigger twice.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, either way, I'm just wondering if it's when it leaves the battlefield.
So it's when it leaves play, yeah. So
Wow.
if Sander finds a land under there, he's getting rid of all of Will's lands. And
Okay, he
Sander,
doesn't
he
have-
took the risk. He had the Wormcoil Engine hiding under there, and Wormcoil Engine is not a land. So
No,
this
it's
game is not over yet. We get one more turn.
Yeah. It was a risky play by Will.
So what's Will tapping 2 for here?
He got no. He was going to untap, but then Sanders like, hold on, I'm attacking for 2.
What did he tap 2 for? Oh, the Electromancer.
Electromancer,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So he gave himself a big chance, and here he picks up a ritual. So very nice here from Will. So
His gamble paid
how do
off.
you sequence here? So do you go? I think you need to see one more card first, right? So you
Well, his
you
mana
Manamorphose
Morphos is cost
first.
1 now. Yeah.
So you Manamorphose first, and then you want to look at what you have first. So give yourself an extra card. So what he wants to do is he wants to
Gotta get
copy
tax in
Manamorphose.
probe.
If that's a probe, that's huge.
It is.
It is a probe. Okay, so here's what he wants to do. He wants
Trigger
to probe
on
now,
his-
put a trigger. He wants to be able to find one more spell that he can copy What is that? Is that an Electromancer?
It's an old. No, I don't think it's an Electromancer.
So he does have a way to put another counter on this Pyretic Ritual and get it online, but that's using his Manamorphose. He really wants to get an extra copy of Manamorphose. He wanted to find another way to put it on before he actually cast that Manamorphose, but it looks like he's going to have to cast a Manamorphose here first, which will draw him a card and maybe find him some gas.
It draws him a card and puts him up to 3 mana.
It does, and then he gets to play a ritual, and then the ritual gets to be copied because the Pyromancer's Ascension is online, and then he can start casting flames. Exactly, yeah. And then he can start casting the Manamorphose from his graveyard, and he's probably going to have enough here, I think. Drawing a land is not ideal there. I think that's a Scalding Tarn he's just drawn. Well, actually, he hasn't played a land for the turn yet, has he? Okay, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. And once again, he just 3 untapped mana as well. So he's got all of the blue he needs, all of the red he needs.
Wormcoil Engine is not a land. Yep, quote me on that one. I'm almost sure of that. Wormcoil Engine is not a land.
I bet there's a way of making it a land.
Probably.
Good old magic.
Probably. I'm sure someone could do it. Travis Wu, if anyone could do it, he can do it. And convince us that it's a tier 1 modern deck. Yeah.
Suddenly Wormcoil Engines and the land, or the thing that makes it a land, sold out.
Yeah, exactly.
€5 each for the land thing.
I really think this is actually
it's really good right now.
Yeah, this is really good right now. You kind of lose to Lightning Bolts and Tarmogoyf.
To your opponent playing cards.
Path to Exile, and you kind of lose to Lingering Souls and Mono Red Burn. Only 75% of the metagame, but I really think it's a good choice.
I played against an Uno deck and I lost, but I got really unlucky.
Yeah.
Even though he played the draw 4 spell on me, so I drew 4 extra cards.
Yeah.
Wasn't enough.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
come on now, Will. Here we go. Let's bring this game to game. Actually,
he's got another Electromancer. Do not cast that, Will. It is not worth it. He's got to go past in flames. I think he's thinking out. I don't know if Will plays this deck very often. So yeah, he's going down.
Will's shaking. Look at this. He's tapping one of his lands to the left and one to the right. He's shaking now.
Will, why are you casting Electromancer? Why are you doing it, buddy?
Why you so Electromancer, Will?
It doesn't make this cast cost 2 less.
No.
Double copies.
Yeah.
No, in fairness, it's not like...
Actually, Pass and Flames cost cheaper.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's 1 red.
It costs 3. It's a red and 3, so he does actually save mana on a Pass and Flames.
Fine. Yeah. He has enough mana though.
He
has
infinite mana this turn. I think it's gas he's looking for here.
Blood
Moon is certainly not what he's looking for. And again, look at the other side of the battlefield. Like, Will, you probably should have been away from Blood Moon after board, but that could have been the sleight of hand or something like that he sided out. So I think Blood Moon was not the card to side in here.
That's always as well a big mistake is people don't go to their sideboard again after the game 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see people leaving in their Goblin Rabbin Masters when they're in the wrong position, doing stuff like that, and it's like, or taking them out and not putting them back in when they're on the play.
That kind of stuff. Yeah. Play and draw is big here. You don't just go, these are the cards in the matchup, and off you go.
Another Pyromancer.
What is he doing?
Pyromancer's Ascension. He is Manamorpho.
He just drew 4 cards. Did he flashback both Mana More? What happened there?
I think he just got to draw 4 cards because he said so.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm playing
Somebody
Storm.
played the Uno, draw 4 against him. Yeah. He heard us. Yeah.
I'm playing Storm.
That was strange.
I guess he must have cast both.
Well, why are his Manamorphose in his graveyard if he cast them then? They should be exiled.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Maybe our table spotter can pick up on that and exile those Manamorphoses.
So, sleight of hand and then sleight of hand again.
So we have to imagine he made blue mana off his Manamorphose. Manamorphosi?
Manamorphi.
Manamorphi? Yeah, I'm fine with that. So, some cantrips here. And he also has to be very careful here as well. He's just putting everything into his graveyard. So
he flashed back the 2 probes. So
okay, yeah, that's fine.
We can actually see off screen he's got the 2 exile probes.
But we need to be careful with the slide or the Serum Visions he's just put in his graveyard because it doesn't have flashback. So,
well, no, because he's got Pass and Flames.
No, but he's the Pass and Flames he cast the first time doesn't give that flashback
afterwards. Yeah. That's fine because he's got a second pass in.
He does, yeah, but he needs to be keeping kind of 2 separate graveyards here. So I think everything in there, bar the Searing Visions that's sitting on top, can be flashback this turn. The Visions can't because it was cast before the Passing Flames.
Sure.
So Passing Flames only gives everything that's already in the graveyard flashback.
Yeah.
So we'll have to try get that.
We can see he's got
Set up here, and he's just put his Manamorphose back into his graveyard. Come on now, Will, get your act together here.
and he's got three rituals. He's not copying the flashback spells. I think he only drew 1. Or did he draw 2 off of that Manamorphose? I appreciate it's game 3, but Sanders just like should just be like, yeah, it's game. But
Actually, I'm letting him do it. He could make a mess of this here. Look at him. He's got stuff all over his graveyard. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's making a mess of this. He's no idea. I'm forcing him to do this for sure.
he might just draw 7 lands in a row and just crap out.
Yeah, he might just forget his Storm Trigger or something, you know. Grape Shot you. Okay, take 1. Yeah. No, wait a second. No!
Hold on. No, but he has to say, yeah, 20 times for each individual trigger.
Well, yeah, you really have to be, you know, a rules lawyer to get away with your opponent not getting the Storm win. Like, it's... You have to...
Look, he's flashing back. Is it the right Manamorphose? It is. He's...
Okay, so we moved the other one to the side. I still think we might have a copy of Searing Visions in there that shouldn't have flashback. And neither should those top 2 either.
Yeah.
They should be, for clarity's sake, should be kept separate. I suppose maybe he just says everything above the Past in Flames can't be flashback, something like that.
Sure.
He might have kind of indicated that at the table. Like, we don't exactly know.
So he's just digging for a grape shot right now.
Oh yeah, he's digging for something, but I don't think he has it, to be perfectly honest. He's cast a lot of spells this turn, and he has a lot of cards in hand. But
He still has 1 Serum Visions in his graveyard and a sleight of hand.
Okay, so you want to cast Serum Visions first.
Another probe. Probe's a good draw. So yeah, probe in his hand, another ritual on the bottom.
He wants to cast Visions first here, I think. Because if he casts Visions first, then he gets to set up the next 2 draws and scry 2 to the bottom.
Sure.
This way, he'll cast Visions and he'll only get 1 card. And if he doesn't have another draw spell in hand... Oh, he does. He has a probe. But again, I want to cast Visions here first.
Yeah. He'd just draw probe and another sleight of hand, if I'm correct.
Yeah, like...
And there's another Electromancer.
Sequencing a little bit off here from Will. He wants to be casting Serum Visions before most of this stuff.
Yeah. Does Grape Shot just win?
Okay, he has a Grape Shot.
Yeah.
That should be more than enough.
Yeah.
Sander, fetch with what do you call it in response?
Sakura Tribe.
Go and get a stomping ground.
Yeah.
Resolves.
Yeah. GG.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't kill him. So
Does
now he's okay. So he must have loads of mana. Now he's going to flash back the Passing Flames and then cast the Grape Shot again.
I thought that the Pyromaster Ascension would make 2 copies of Grape Shot that each have Storm.
No. Storm is a trigger when you cast a spell.
Okay.
So when you pyrotic,
it just adds 1 extra.
Yeah. The wording on Pyromancer's Ascension is you make a copy of the spell. You don't actually cast a spell. Storm is a trigger when you cast a spell.
Okay.
So
just making sure. Yeah, Storm's an awkward one.
it is
a funny old man.
That was interesting though. I always like watching it.
Yeah,